Alrighty, here's a short little montage before I go show the video. Hope you enjoy my pet Sorc build for our current patch just before Necrom comes out on PlayStation. Here we got a dual bar pet Sorc build running Vigor and the Storm Armor for major and minor resistance, Hardened Ward for my damage, shield for survivability. Streak is both the stun and our movement tool. And our main combo has been Haunting Curse, execute with our main spammable followed by Crystal Frag at the end for the big fat burst juicy combo. As you see, that's what got us the kill right then and there. Make sure you keep your buffs up at all times, streak around as you need. The blue beam which you're seeing popping off has to be the rallying cry that's pinging off, giving us the extra crit resist and extra weapon and spell damage. It's quite juicy. Oh, couldn't quite kite those guys away, just got caught in such a huge mess. Got unlucky there, but we'll catch him back on respawn. Here we are, we're having a pretty good game with our 15 kills, 9 assists. Once we come back, we'll go teach them who's boss. Green team just took over a second on the leaderboard, but don't mean we won't come back. Don't worry guys, I'll show you the build after this little montage. Goodbye Archer, you were dead. Oh, this lag spike is real.
There's not much fight left in them now.
Yeah, we're gonna pop down here just for a little bit of a kite game so we can get some resources back in pre-buff again before going back in for our main combo. Atro down in mid on the left side to help our team. There we are. As you can see, we're slowly cleaning house now. Here comes more greens to help us finish off this deathmatch game. Look at that easy win. 19 kills, 7 deaths, 13 assists with 1.2 mil damage. This is just some of what the Mag Sorc is capable of and then some. Let's go head back out and I'll go show you guys. Alrighty. After our quick load screen out of the Battlegrounds match, let me go show y'all the build. Here we're running our 3 rallying cry pieces, with our weapon and spell damage glyph for the increased mag recov and the overall damage. I didn't have the third to make it for the 30 infused, but that'll definitely give a huge boost. Here we got our Night Mother's Gaze, our feet, legs, chest, and Inferno Staff for our 5-piece. We got the sharpened on the front bar with our flame glyph for the extra damage. We're running this for the extra 6k pen. And our heavy piece has to be on the chest with reinforced. This gives you the most stats that you can physically pull out of your build. I'm running health and magicka glyphs, but highly would recommend that you go and run tri-stack glyphs if you can. That'll help pull out more for your stat sheet. I got 2 medium crafted pieces as Julianos for now until I get my engine guardian piece. This will really save you guys, as when you're running around in Cyrodiil or Battlegrounds or wherever, you cop a random meteor to the head, not fun. The engine guardian will act as a way to give you resources back, and also the amount of people that'll drop an in-cap or a meteor on this thing is ridiculous. It has saved my life more times than I can count on other builds that I've made. And then last but not least, we got our rallying cry. This only activates while battle spirit is active. If you don't know what battle spirit is, it's any time you're in a PvP zone where you can beat the crap out of another player, like dueling, battlegrounds, Imperial City, and Cyrodiil. That's the only time when this will activate you. And when you critically heal yourself or an ally, you and up to 11 other members within 12 meters of you will get 282 weapon and spell damage with 1500 crit resist. That is absolutely huge. And although you lose a bit of stats when you're caught up with other people, but if you activate it when no allies are within range, you get the full buff to yourself. And if allies are near you, it is still a huge buff that you and them get. It's just absolutely absurd. It's just such a great survival tool, Rallying Cry. And let's go into the pre-buff and I'll show you my stats. As you can see here, running 25,000 max mag with a 1600 mag recov. That is absolutely huge. Got our 2300 max health, slightly on the low side, but tri-stack glyphs will pop it up somewhere closer to the 25k mark. Spell damage 3500. That's just looking juicy. Our spell pen is let's quickly check. Our spell pen is currently at 7,200, but if you add Night Mother's Gaze, that'll push it up to 13k right there. That'll just help you melt through them noobs. Spell resist chilling at 22k and a 19k physical resist, not bad. Our 16k crit resist that you see here, that's without Rallying Cry active. If you have Rallying Cry active, it pop by yourself with no allies, that's 3k crit resist. That is absolutely huge right there. I decided to go with the Atronox Stone to help boost up that macro cover a bit more. When you're in open world or BGs, you don't have your CP available. Resource management can be tough for some. I'm going with the Witch Mother's Potent Brew, but other great choices that would probably do better if you can afford it would probably be the Witch Mother's the Bewitched Sugar Skulls. Those Sugar Skulls are just so good for PvP. Even the Jewels of Misrule will do you really good for the extra recov and the max health. That is really nice build that's running off over here. And let's go dive into our skills. Here you can see, as I tried going over earlier, our main spam ball is Crushing Shock. This is our spammable, and it also knocks people off balance when they're trying to hardcast a bunch of skills. It'll mess with a bunch of people getting interrupted. A lot of people don't expect to be interrupted in any form of PvP content. It's really good, and it does some nice juicy damage. Endless Fury. The reason why I didn't go with the other morph is for the extra AoE damage. I'd rather get the resources, especially when you're caught off in a giant open world. This gives 4800 max mag, 4800 mag recover, like when you kill an enemy within 5 seconds of being hit by this ability. That is huge. You can just sort of use this to cycle through your kills against low health enemies because it's so cheap to cast, and this can help you regen some easy mag against a giant group of enemies when they're low. And this is also our execute for the just under 10k shock damage on the explosion. It's just hits like a truck. You can just pre-place it as a tick, and then when everything falls together, they just eat a huge juice load of damage. Our Twilight here is down for our heal, for the just free 10k heal, and the free passive damage that it does. It's just so good. It's taken a lot of damage for me as well, and a lot of players target the pets if they really can't get their hands on you. It saved me a lot, and it does some nice passive damage to pull people off guard. Crystal Frags. What can I say? The bread and butter of every sorcerer build. I'll wait for you to name 10 Sorc builds that don't use Crystal Frags. Like, seriously, it is the bread and butter of our lifestyle as Sorcs. As you can see, it does 7k magic damage when you cast it, but since we're only using it for the proc here, for the big PP damage, and don't need to hard cast it, so when using any of our skills, there's a 33% chance to hard for a free cast. It's instant. 66% more damage. That is just absolutely huge. These crystal frags hit like a truck. And our haunting curse. This is going to be your pre-placed dot that you're going to be using on a target for an initial 8k magic damage, and then it procs with the 4k damage tick every single time that it ticks, and it ticks twice. It's just absolutely huge. So when you mix your Fury Haunting Curse into your spammable combo, pop them crystal frags when it's ready, and you're just gonna be shedding through noobs like it's no one's business. For now, went with the Atronach just to get us by for now. Good old free stun, free passive damage that is really good. If an ally pops it for the major berserk for you guys, oh boy will you be ripping through enemies. This is really good for group composition. If you're not running in a group, highly recommend Mage's Guild Meteor. You can pre-place it on a Nightblade before they go invis, and they'll eat a meteor while they're invis, just to screw them over. You could use on so many people in groups, single target. It just absolutely hits like a truck, I'm telling you. Swapping over to our back bar. Our Hardened Ward. This is what gives us our huge damage shield every time. It scales off our health and magicka, so it's really strong. It gives you some absurd stats right there, like 11k damage shield. That is stronger than Bone Shield, the light armor skill. Like, it's just so good of a damage shield. You can't get through it, it's just so good. Can't look over it, seriously, so good. Resolving Vigor. This is here for our hot, good old heal over time. For a 15k heal over 5 seconds, and the minor resolve, giving us the free resistances. Of course, having to double bar our Twilight here, for otherwise if you don't double bar it, the bird will die. Boundless Storm. This is what's here to give us our major resolve for the extra bit of resistances, and also casting it will also give you the major expedition for 4 seconds, so you can just slip on your armor again while it's active and just get that extra movement. And if you really need movement, we have our streak. This deals 4k shock damage to an enemy, and you stun them for 3 seconds. They cannot block it either. Like, they could be trying to block it, it'll just straight up, they can't block it, it's just so strong. Insta stun, can't be blocked, and you dash across a map at so fast speeds. It is just absolutely absurd tool to kite or escape. If a sorcerer wants to escape a situation, they can and will. Like, there's no beating streak, it is just so good. Of course, casting it again within 4 seconds will add a magic cost to it, so you can go for a mix of a streak with your dodge and activating your Boundless Storm for movement, so then you can cycle your movement combos together. Negate magic, this is just here as a placeholder, but I highly would recommend not using it. If you can, definitely would go into the Sigil order and get undo and then morph it into temporal guard if you can, as that's what will give you the passive of minor protection. That'll give you an extra 5% resistances. That's what will help keep you beefy and tanky. Popping over into the champion tree, in which we've got here, if you can, definitely would slot Steed's Blessing for your movement speed. This will help you. It's really up to you for a green tree, but I would recommend Steed's Blessing running into your Gifted Rider. So when you're in Cyrodiil and you need to get somewhere fast, you'll mount Gifted Rider. This will help zoom you across the map. Definitely run your rationer for longer on your food and drinks, so that way you don't have to reactivate it mid-fight. And liquid efficiency, so then you don't have to drain your potion or poison as much. You don't need to craft as much. This will just make it a bit easier on your bank. But green tree is really up to you. It has no real main effect on your combat. Dipping over to the blue tree, this is where it starts mattering more. Get your passives, but of course your slotted starts will matter the most. Get Master at Arms for your direct damage. This will boost just about every single lot of damage we're doing, as direct damage is anything that's not a dot. And Deadly Aim for all single target damage. This will help us deal some higher PP damage, hitting hard. Our last 2 stars will be Ironclad for the huge damage reduction, and last but not least, running Duelist Rebuff. Our single target resistances, that'll be really big and really nice for us, yeah. Last but not least, our red tree, which is going to be big. Highly recommend that you run Celerity for your movement speed. This gives you more kiting options out in the open world. It'll let you get away from situations. It'll let you charge towards enemies so much faster so they can't get away. It's all around a great tool. Moving into our purple tree here of Survivor's Spite. Definitely run Pain's Refuge. The more status effects that enemies have on you, the more damage reduction you have. This stacks with all forms of damage reduction, and it is really good. And of course, running over into Sustained by Suffering as our 3rd slotted. The more negative status effects, like all under a negative status effect, you get some huge recov. It is like really nice, just free resources. Why wouldn't you take it? And the last slotted star is up to you. You can either go Rejuvenation here if you need more resources, or if you're doing pretty good, chuck on Slippery for the automatic break free. It's just really good for the free stamina cost, and it'll treat you really well. And yeah, really hope you like my Sorc build for the Elder Scrolls Online. And I'm Crimson Shadow.
PlayStation